Hey y'all, hey, and welcome to another session of Meditations with Marigny. So, I wanted to come on tonight and do a follow up to. I haven't done like an update on the online dating process, and so I just thought I would give you guys an update and kind of let you know what that journey has been like, how it looks, how it feels. So I started. Well, if you like my videos, I want you to click like. I'd love for you to share it with a friend, and I would like for you to subscribe. I am trying to reach 200 subscribers by by the end of the year. So I have about a week and a half to go. But I wanted to do an update for the online dating process. You guys know, for those of you that have followed me, if you haven't followed that process, you should go back and look at my other videos first and then come back and look at this one because it'll kind of catch you up. So I started that process in August. So this is December. So August, September, October, November, December. So it's been approximately 4 months. And I know my subscription ends in February. And if you all recall, when I first joined, I said that I was going to stay on the app for the entire time period. And if I'm completely honest, things are going pretty much exactly how I thought that they would go. I've met a couple of really good guys on there. I've met a couple of people that I felt like I had strong compatibility with, but it was new. And because it was new, I didn't get like super excited or anything like that because I do feel like when it is new, you have to give it a moment for that component to kick in. As well as it was my personal opinion, and it has been my experience, and it's starting to show forth now that many people would come into my life like initially, and then they would eventually drop off, and then some of them I felt would circle back around. And I will say that in the dating process, that is one thing that I have noticed. It's been about 3 months now, and so a few of the guys that I met that were kind of compatible with me, and I was compatible with them, but I knew that they were still kind of checking out other people and other things. And because of my strong stance on abstinence, I knew that I would not be the first person or woman that they would really strongly consider. And, if the truth be told, now they are circling back, because many of them did have the mindset that if they were dating someone, that they would automatically come off of the app. And that was a conversation that I had with several of them where we disagreed on that component. I strongly encouraged them to continue talking to other people. I strongly encouraged them to continue dating other people. And the reason being is I feel like when you join a site like that, in order to get your best money's worth for what you invested in, you are going to have to kind of cycle through some people. In addition, I know the caliber of woman that I am. Um, and I make no qualms about that. So at the end of the day, if there were a huge pool of women that had the same level of standards and boundaries and levels of excellence, I just don't think that there would be a high level of choices. Now, there are choices available, and I'm not saying that any one person's standard is better than or greater than someone else's. What I am saying is if it is a man that is truly looking for a wife, and he is looking for someone that has compatibility that would be suitable for him long term, he is going to look at and invest in that process a little bit differently. So, and I even met someone, I think we started talking about a week and a half ago or so, and had really good vibes. But I told him, I said, well, you're new to the app, for one. So I'm one of the first people that you've met. And two, he has been in the dating realm or in the dating app realm for quite a while, like some years. So, he might have been on an app and then he came off of an app and then he got back on and he came off. And so one of the things that I shared with him is that my concern would be that he would have dating fatigue. And you have to really look at that component when it comes to dating people, how long you've been in the dating pool, how often that cycle is turning over for you, and then what you're really looking for. When he and I talked, he may have been more interested in just a long-term friend. And so for me, that wasn't going to work because I know that eventually I would like to get married. So I just wanted to log on and kind of give you guys an update for it. I am still very encouraged by the process. I will say that I had not had as much time, maybe over the past week or two, to even reach out to people or respond. I have tried to be consistent with at least going out there once a day, like once in the morning, once at night. Um, and I have tried to be consistent with responding to men that I felt might be compatible with me. Um, but I will say that the pool is very full. And in that process, you really have to look at what are you willing to invest in it. And I'm hearing all kind of stories, like even from the men, things that I never would have thought that I would have heard from men about their experiences. There are a lot of women that are playing just as many games as what quote unquote we hear that men are playing as well. And so that part has been very interesting. But for the most part, I really just wanted to come back and let you know that I feel that the dating process has been, I won't necessarily say successful because I haven't met anybody that I've gone on more than 2, maybe 3 dates with. Like we've gotten to that third date and then, it either was me or them. So I'll say sometimes it might have been that I still had an interest, but they didn't. Or I will say that, after I went on that third date, I was like, this not going to be a good fit. Or, I mean, like I've gone on a third date with some. And as I mentioned, we might have stopped talking and now the phone is pinging again. And so I think that we have to be realistic with giving people the time to process. Like, and ladies, sometimes it takes men a little bit longer to, when they're given so many choices. If you take a child to I remember Baskin and Robbins used to have their flavors. And there's a company, Yogly Mowgli. I like their yogurt. And when you go, they have so many different flavors, just depending on what your taste is, you will then be able to choose something. So it's quite different from many, many years ago. Kind of like if we go to the ice cream space now at Publix, you got 20, 30 different flavors to choose from. Years and years ago, like when I was a little girl, I don't remember there being so many choices. I only remember us having like chocolate, vanilla, strawberry, and butter pecan was like the most popular back then. I just don't remember so many flavors being offered, which means that if you didn't have a lot of flavors being offered, it doesn't mean that you didn't have choices. It just meant that the choices were limited. And that's kind of how I feel the dating pool is as far as being on the online apps. You now have a larger variety of choices. And to give you guys some real numbers, at this point, I think the range of men that I have probably pinged, like we've pinged and contacted each other on through the app, is probably around 125, 130, maybe 140 people. I'm kind of just doing a rough estimate off the top of my head. And then the amount of people that I've actually talked to or spoken with is probably around 30. And out of those 30, I would say, I've probably been on about 5 dates. And I may have talked to maybe 10 guys that like we really had good chemistry, had good conversation. Like I said, the guy who I met last week, we had good conversation, but I was one of the first people that he met. And so I already knew that him being on the app, he's going to meet other people. And so I may have to reach out to him just to reconnect and see. We did talk about trying to meet because we had really good conversation, kind of align with our values and things of that sort. So, I just kind of wanted to give you guys an update. And I think that when you take it for what it's worth, for me, it was the opportunity to make sure that I had the chance to meet different people who might have the same mindset as I. And I will say that some of them I may have to do a little bit more reaching out to. And then some of them, like if I've reached out one or two times and there's been no response or you haven't gotten back with me, then, I give you the same energy that you're giving me. And that's because at some point I know either someone else has captured your attention or perhaps you're not as strongly interested. And I think that's fine because I think that's a part of why we joined the site. But for the most part, I wanted to just give you guys that quick update. And I am going to do another video tonight. I think I'm going to upload them both tonight as well. Usually I will wait and hold off. But I'm going to do another video just talking about some of your non-negotiables. I did a video about that a little while back. But I think that that's important to circle back around to as well. So if you enjoy my videos, I'd love for you to click like. If you really like them, I'd love for you to share it with a friend. And then I would love for you to subscribe or invite someone to subscribe. Help me reach my 200 subscribers by the end of 2025. All right, y'all. Have a good night. Bye.